Am I the only one who truly gets upset when seeing a billionaire without an ultra-luxurious, mega-expensive yacht, a lavish mansion, and at least a dozen elegant sports cars that are obviously not for driving, but for showing off? It really grinds my gears seeing people with 10 or more figures in their bank accounts, living as if they just landed their first job. But regardless of my feelings, some billionaires prefer to toy with my emotions. Instead of milking their fortunate situation to the fullest, they prefer a low-key lifestyle away from the spotlight. Here are 5 of them that really get on my nerves. Ratan Tata. Despite having a name that inspired almost every trash metal into riff that ever existed, Ratan Tata is not a musician. Well, he does live like a struggling musician, but in fact, he's worth around $2 billion these days. That's despite his company Tata Group's annual revenue of over $103 billion. Even though he can have the majority of these funds as his salary, he prefers to take only about 0.2% of the revenue for himself. The rest he reinvests in new companies or gives to various charities. Today, the 85-year-old billionaire is actually retired, as he left Tata Group in his successor's capable hands. As he never married and had children, Tata actually left his company to Natarajan Chandrasekaran, a longtime COO of Tata Group. Ratan's business is not what makes him remarkable. It's what he does with the money he earned during a lifetime of labor. Ratan Tata is a well-known supporter of medicine, education, and rural development. He financed the development of capacitive deionization, providing much-needed clean water to millions across India. Tata also granted $70 million to the University of California, or more accurately, to its Genetics and Society programs. Moreover, Tata offers a scholarship for brilliant Indian kids to further their education in the US. Tata struck a $28 million deal with Cornell University to ensure there will be at least 20 Indian undergraduate students at the pristine New York University at all times. That wasn't enough for Tata though, and in 2010, he donated $50 million for the construction of an executive center at Harvard Business School. Next, he donated another $35 million to Carnegie Mellon University, $11.5 million to the Indian Institute of Technology in Bombay, and another $10 million to the Center for Neuroscience at the Indian Institute of Science. He founded dozens of medical science projects as he stood behind attempts at finding a cure for Alzheimer's disease. With all this money given to charity, it's not too far-fetched to think that Ratan Tata is traveling on the roof of a train as most Indians do. Don't worry, Ratan Tata has not forgotten about himself as well, although he prefers riding in the most affordable car in the world, the Tata, which, as you might have guessed, he produces. The Bombay billionaire has one small but very extravagant garage. Along with his Tata Nexon, worth a bit under $20,000, Ratan also has a Land Rover Freelancer, worth around $30,000 USD, a Maserati Quattroporte for $110,000, a Mercedes-Benz S-Class, worth roughly $115,000 USD, another Mercedes-Benz, but this one is an SL 500, worth about $250,000 USD, and a Ferrari California, with a price tag of nearly $500,000. That's what being Tata rich is all about. Spending millions on charity, having all sorts of luxuries and investments, but still using the practical and affordable. I, on the other hand, won't be caught dead in a Tata, especially if I have a Ferrari California in the garage. Azim Premji. Indian billionaires seem to be an example for all greedy rich people out there. And while Ratan Tata is definitely frustrating with his goody-goody two-shoes way of life, Azim Premji is downright infuriating. At least Ratan had one truly magnificent car collection. Premji, on the other hand, has nothing to show for. Well, except a highly successful business, a multi-billion-dollar company, and over $9.3 billion in his bank account. But who cares about those numbers if you don't have a $2 billion home to show for? or at least a Bugatti Veyron, or a $500 million yacht. Premji won't satisfy us with his down-to-earth lifestyle and beliefs. It's probably due to his early years as CEO of Wipro. Back then, the small tech company was just a family business that barely survived in the ever-expanding market. With Premji behind the wheel, though, Wipro quickly became one of the wealthiest companies in India. Today, the Indian Microsoft, as many call Wipro, is worth over $27 billion. Still, its owner refuses to acknowledge his wealth and lives like a commoner. Come on, Azim. Just buy a Ferrari and be done with it. It won't be the end of the world. As stubborn as he is, Premji used the same old Honda Civic, worth less than $16,000, as brand new for decades. After his trusted Honda finally gave in to its age, Premji bought a new car. Was it a one-of-a-kind Lamborghini? A $3 million Volkswagen Tiguan with diamond rims and gold-plated hood? No, Azim bought a second-hand Mercedes-Benz for around $10,000 from an employee. Now that's what I call an HR disaster. And if you think this is traveling like a poor person, just consider being a billionaire and still flying economy. Premji not only considers it, but he prefers it. Hopefully, he's always seated in the middle seat between a teething baby and an overexcited toddler. This will teach him not to travel with utmost luxury. Mark Zuckerberg. If Meta continues its free downfall and doesn't open the parachute soon, Zuck might be forced to genuinely live like a poor person. Although that's a bit of an exaggeration. Mark seems to be already training for this possibility. Well, not really. That's how he always lived. A down-to-earth, devoid of ultra-expensive luxury life. Naturally, his home has some extravagant features, like a Canon that shoots grey t-shirts every morning, and a state-of-the-art AI home assistant. Those, however, came practically free, as Zuckerberg built them himself. A regular Tony Stark. Hopefully, Mark won't start flying around in an iron suit, killing everyone who hates on Facebook. This will be one truly gruesome bloodbath. Despite having some expensive purchases in his portfolio, compared to his $66.8 billion, Zuck is practically living like a street rat. For example, his car collection is worth roughly $100,000, with each car worth no more than $30,000. Moreover, he prefers to keep his lavish spending mostly for vacations, away from paparazzi and curious eyes. The biggest expense Zuckerberg has is his privacy. That's a bit hypocritical from the Facebook guy, but hey, when you have $60 billion in your bank account, you can afford to be away from the public eye. So, he spent $7 million on a Crescent Park residence and another $59 million on 2 adjacent properties near Lake Tahoe. Not the most modest example of a billionaire, but still, compared to others with just as swollen wallets, Mark is more like a monk ready to find enlightenment. Warren Buffett. Being rich is easy. Being Warren Buffett rich is a whole other thing. The investor billionaire, also known as the Oracle of Omaha, has accumulated over $107 billion of wealth, thanks to his keen eye for investments and his flair for business. The vast majority of his wealth comes from Berkshire Hathaway Inc., which has a net worth of over $276.1 billion. This conglomerate owns over 60 prime brands across different markets. It's tough failing when you earn from basically everything. Hopefully there won't be a comment anytime soon to disprove my point. With $107 billion in his bank account, Buffett could easily afford to buy almost anything he desired. A brand new mansion with a backyard the size of Fiji, a one-of-a-kind custom-designed car, especially for him, an entire island, or even an exoplanet or two like Pluto. Buffett, however, has none of these. Instead, he lives in the same old house he bought with his wife in the late 50s. The home is by no means a mansion, and Buffett is well aware of that. He often says he could buy the biggest house in the world, but it won't be his home. It won't have the memories that his Oklahoma home does. So today, the billionaire still lives in his $31,000 home, Well, it cost $31,000 back in 1958, but still. Furthermore, Buffett has no expensive cars, private jets, or pointless amenities that bring little joy and have only one task: to showcase his wealth. Instead, he prefers to show off his immense riches while doing good. During his lifetime, Warren has donated more than $48 billion to various charities. Now that's how you demonstrate your superior wealth. Not by getting a golden toilet, ultra-luxurious tanks for joyrides, or by wearing $3,000 white sneakers. Elon Musk. Love him or hate him, Elon Musk is a true inspiration when it comes to self-made billionaires. The South African boy, who dreamed big and went above and beyond his wildest expectations, can do anything as it seems. Losing $40 billion in about a year is one of them. Thankfully, his business hiccup hadn't affected his lifestyle all that much. No, not because he still has over $184 billion of personal wealth, but because he lives as an average Joe, and most often even his cleaners live in more spacious accommodations. That's right, the guy who created Tesla, SpaceX, and ruined Twitter is living in a 430 square feet transportable house. It's genuinely like living in a box, but with everything you need to live well, and nothing more. Truly disappointing. I'd expect a person with $184 billion to have at least 4 helipads, 2 golf courses, and a football field in his backyard while his basement is a genuine water park. But alas, Elon prefers the downsized version of a bachelor's apartment. I guess the only upside is the price. Musk paid only $50,000 for this so-called house, which would be great if he lived in Tajikistan and won the local lottery, but when you have more than 12-figure sums in your bank account, paying only $50K for your home is just downright disrespectful. Furthermore, Musk is well known for his car collection. While some notable and not that cheap Tesla models are in it, an old BMW 3 Series worth $1,400 is gouging my eyes. Thankfully, Elon is far more cautious about his carbon footprint these days, so he left this fossil fuel-powered machine in his garage. So, what does Musk do with his massive fortune? Well, he invests it in humanity's betterment, space exploration, and clean energy sources. You might think that's a waste of money, but when it comes down to it, if there's no Earth, where would you spend your $184 billion? These were 5 of the wealthiest people in the world who preferred to live like average Joes. Is their lifestyle choice a cruel joke on me? I have no idea. But hey, I'm not the one living in a 430 square foot matchbox while having $184 billion in my bank account. What would you do if you had $184 billion? Let me know in the comments below. If you're seeking some more extravagant life choices, look no further than Kanye West's ultra-luxurious lifestyle.